Brand new day. Some new fun. So, what are we up to today in our application building world? July 4th. Happy July 4th. 4th of July. Goals for today. Let's bring some visual fireworks online. Build a landing page. Did our app record yesterday? Yesterday morning, we took the app that we made few days ago, hit record and let it run for the entire day. We should probably do the same today. Start recording. Did it actually record something yesterday? Spoiler alert, it did. Did it work as well as I hoped? Nope. But we'll talk a bit about that and what went well and where things got messy. Um, I bought a domain a while back. I very much would like to avoid buying something like get.verbu.app.now. These like longer COCC kind of names and get a short.com domain. The bad thing is they're usually all taken and really freakishly expensive, especially if you're like 6 letters or less. A good friend of mine in brainstorming for names suggested the name Verbu, which means verb in a few languages, fun fact, including in Corsican. But Verbu also like verb as in verb you. There's a few meanings, which I kind of like. And figured out verbu.com. It was actually for sale. But it was already registered and they wanted a hefty price tag of I think $1,600, which is not happening. So as a lot of these domains, they're usually listed through your favorite name provider, GoDaddy, Namecheap, etc., etc., and they all share the same price, a listing price. I'm sure it hooked up to some database somewhere. I was like $1,600. Nope, not happening. I wrote them and we negotiated back and forth for quite a long time. We ultimately landed on I think like 40% discount or something. I think in hindsight, I could probably have gone to like 50 or 60% discount and I tried and pushed harder. Um, I suggested a price and they, at the end of the day, and they said, yeah, let's do it. And it felt just like slightly too fast. Like, which is a tell for me that I probably have negotiated harder or more. Anyway, we got a 40% discount. The transfer succeeded yesterday from their provider to my provider. And this morning I set up name servers. So we are as close as we can get, ready to hook up verbu.com. 5 letters. I really love it. Super short, simple, easy to remember. It's way better than what I dared hope for. So we're in luck. So building on that excitement and momentum, I think we should build a landing page today. That's always a lot of fun, or at least get it ready. There's a few things that I would like to hook up, but just like have it ready and we can start gathering um, insight on where the users would like to use this or not. Um, in here, we're actually repurposing an old site I have for a different domain. So we need to go back and update Google Analytics since we discarded our old domain, or we didn't discard it, just like turn it off. Upshape.net. So we want to update Google Analytics so we can see are people actually visiting us or not, and sign up forms and stripe payment. We can probably go take a look at that. And that should be enough to keep us busy for the next few hours. I started this morning. I've been working on this for a while, so we actually have a pretty nice site. I like to build my sites in Webflow. Webflow is a cool platform if you don't know it, like very powerful. Go build your own product or your own website. Quite easy to use. They have a lot of nice templates as well, and libraries. Let's say Webflow templates. We can just like grab something off the shelf, use it. It should just you can modify it to your liking, and you have a beautiful website. Preview preview in the browser. You can like play with it, interact with it, see how it feels. I've done this a few times, and it always builds up so much data, and modifying it is actually quite painful. And instead, they also have something called Webflow libraries, where you can buy different packages of libraries and go build your own. So yesterday evening, I looked through there are different libraries, and like decided to just find one I like, roll with that, and we can hit the ground running. And I end up choosing this one and open demo site. They have a lot of like nice components. What I tend to focus on is the hero section, maybe the nav, but that's like pretty easy to set up. Do they have some like nice feature components and nice photo work as well? And then if that, and I like the style in general, then we're ready. This is like very much Apple-esque, very simple, very clean. This as well, very super simple. So I saw this. This is obviously just a screenshot that they pasted in, right? So we can put our own there. But I saw this like, hey, I like this. This is simple. This is clean. Looks good. Nice transition. So we don't have to think too much or spend too much time on this. Time is really of the essence when we're doing anything. So we want to be fast and don't reinvent the wheel ourselves. If we could just like take off the shelf products and make it work. So I started this morning after buying access to this, and we've begun building our website and figuring out the copy. What should the copy be? So, as I mentioned yesterday, we have our favorite, oops, different browser. We have our favorite GPT in here that I call for the love of copy. I've explained exactly how I like my copy, which is um, full of empathy, clear and easy and human language, not too much fluff and like big words like innovation and all these like let's blow something up to something that it isn't, but just like keep it simple, keep it straight, and explain it for regular normal people rather than making it sound like you just invented a cure for cancer every single time you speak. So every once in a while I rely on this to like refine what I'm trying to say, and it actually works surprisingly well. Hear yourself become better. That's like been a catchphrase in my mind for a while. This I used our dear GPT for. I had something else early on, but basically just speak English with confidence, turn it on, and we will handle the rest. Super simple. So what we did in setting this up was add in different sections. We have our hero section. We can just we have our hero section, which is this up here with the product image, the design that we actually made yesterday, which I've looked at it again and again, and it turned out really, really well, better than what I dare hope for. So I think this is what we're gonna go with. And down here, we have a section around what kind of call clients or meeting platforms we support for listening. My current thinking, we haven't actually validated this technically yet, but we can just hook into whenever one of these applications are running actively and are using the microphone. We should be able to detect that since we're an Electron application. And we will just start recording two, and when the call ends, we'll turn off recording and live happily ever after. Um, we can either do it automatically, or we can do it right now. We have a setting here, say suggest recording for impromptu calls. We can ask every time for permission. We'll feel it out, see what feels natural when we start using the application more. But the idea is we'll hook into just listen to your microphone so you have no privacy worries, or you don't need to ask anyone for permissions. And say, hey, I'm actually going to record you as well on this meeting, and I'm going to transcribe the entire thing so I have a forever record of what you said. Nope, we're not doing that. I personally would prefer that was not the default thing out there. So that's not what we're building. Instead, I'll just record the user's voice and nothing else, and we'll work around the drawbacks that comes with that. But here's the clients we support, really important. That should be the next thing. Just say, hey, no bots needed, no extra attendees joining. It's just install and it works. Clear pricing should give you superior speaking skills. One thing, excuse me, back from Slack that Slack did really well and super early. I can't remember if I actually mentioned this yesterday, but one thing they did that I really, really admire them for and appreciate is they had fair billing, which means if you don't use Slack, I'm not sure if this is still a thing, but early on was if you don't use Slack, but you're paying for it, they'll turn off your access or won't turn off, but like stop billing you until you start using it again and just like issue credits. If you didn't use it for the last month, issue credits for the last month and say, hey, we won't bill you going forward. We will if you start using it again, but you shouldn't be paying for something that you're not using because then it's clearly not providing you value. I love that. Will it lead to less money? Probably. Will it lead to more customer satisfaction and love and more good stories? If I personally would love if I didn't use ChatGPT for a month and they would get back to me and say, hey, we're saving you money. We're not charging you. Here is the next month free on us, and because you already paid for it, and we'll stop charging. And like when you start next time you go in on and use our software, we'll just like start using the credit for another month and charge you if you continue to use it after that. Because ultimately, like customers, I think Steve Jobs said this: customers vote with the wallets, right? You don't if you don't use something, you shouldn't be paying for it, and that's basically it. So I really want this to be fair billing. If you don't use it, we don't charge you anymore, and we'll let you know and issue you credits for what we already charged you that you haven't used. This uh, works best, I think, if we have monthly plans. If you have yearly plans, then you're. I tend personally to buy yearly plans because it's cheaper. But what I found was I usually only use something for a period of time and then I stop using it. And if you calculate the cost, it's actually more expensive for me because but I already paid for it. But if I just compared to like it's more expensive compared to if I would just buy it for like 3 months in the time that I actually need it, stop paying monthly and be over with it. But for some reason, psychologically, I tend to buy the annual plan and just like it's like 25% off. But I think if we're fair about it, I think we can justify just having a monthly plan and yeah, be fair, be nice, be kind to each other. Long term, I do want to offer a enterprise plan if we can get our user management system to work. That's what actually kept us back from being able to publish recently. and we had to do some workarounds to make the recording version of the app that we use right now. But if we get that to work, we have a fairly straightforward way to like provide Teams and user and access management. Stripe, ideally, haven't researched this, but should be able to solve the billing and invoicing. A really good friend of mine used to work at Stripe, so he can probably help answer that. I think Clerk solves our SAML-based authentication issue as well, and then we need to like set up some priority support, but that's doable. The main thing about like enterprise plans or enterprise companies, they want an invoice. They prefer not to just like self-service charge a credit card, or at least some prefer an invoice. So we need to be able to accommodate that. Even actually, if we like charge a credit card, so there's some research to do there. But it should be a relatively straightforward next step when we have something going. Teaser, now's your time to shine. I found this study early when I was researching this idea. I think I have it somewhere here, otherwise we can just pull it up in the browser. It's a really interesting one. It's from Pearson, who would also do English education. They ran the study on English and the impact to work, and the what it means, especially for folks who have English as a second language. They had the study with at least 1,000 participants across Japan, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Italy, and then US as a reference point in the state of Florida. And there's so many cool fun facts here about what is the expected like impact of improving your English at work. And over 90% of their respondents say English is essential for work and will only be more essential in the future. And actually, over half of their respondents say they are like they want to actually improve their English to advance both in career and salary. So they want more money, but it's also like it's opening the door to new job opportunities they wouldn't previously have had access to. Also, fun fact: most managers, I think like it's 70 something percent of managers are at least decent at speaking English, versus if you're not a manager, it's only like 31% or something. It's like it's a quite different. So if you want to move up into management, English is almost certainly a something that you need to prioritize. I just saw something here. There's this line here for some reason that I don't like. Let's see if we can get rid of that. What's happening? Do we have a border? Black border with zero style? No. Was it a border? It looks like it. Okay, it's gone. So this actually feels pretty good. The question that I still have, and I'm kind of torn on, let's just bring up our notepad here. For the website, we have some questions. Do we want to go with a pay first, download? Do we want to go the freemium, which is trial for X days or weeks? For instance, for like 2 weeks free, then start billing. Or um, there is some companies, this is less sort of, this is like a less common approach where uh, I'm not sure if it has a term, but like let's call it hidden pricing. Right now, we're not building our website this way, but there are some companies out there that really were, yeah, I agree. Thanks for chatting in the chat. I like that too. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why, but it's yeah. I need to think about it. It feels like the right approach, and it could be instead of days. I think the days is what usually messes me up. So I think you're right. Um, it should probably be recording time or something else. That feels better because like 2 weeks, if you don't set it up in time or you don't use it, then like 2 weeks are over. Then what? Then like charge or uninstall. Where if you can have a like just after 3 hours or 5 hours and some feedback, if it provides value, you want to pay. And if it doesn't provide value, you tried it, it's free, and then no harm done. So yeah, I think the freemium should be the way. I've been kind of liking this one, but it's a higher barrier to entry, which is like the biggest drawback. Um, the pro here is obviously more money up front for us, but it kind of goes counter to our like core value of like if it doesn't provide value, you probably shouldn't charge you for it. Um, so that's another like why not this? It's a fair billing policy. The freemium, there is let's say not trial by fire, but like trial by days, and then there's like the trial by usage. Cons, pros, easy to implement. It's really just a timer. Downside is feels bad. What if you don't try it right away or install and have and go on? If you go on vacation, like let's say summer's coming up, you're gonna go on vacation. You go away with your family or something for like 2 weeks. You come back, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, your trial is expired. Contact support if you want to go back and redo it again. It's like that's more ticket work for us. We don't like that. Um, yeah, no. This here feels good. The downside is slightly more technical to implement, or it's more technical to implement. Maybe not even slightly more technical implementation feels really good and fair. That's a really good point. Some people talk less over days than others. That's a really good point. I used to be a manager and I would have blocks of like 6 hours of meetings every single day for like most days. Doesn't sound like fun, I know, but I was doing a lot of talking. If I was in IC and I was living the dream, I would have 2 meetings a week and maybe a stand up a few times a week as well. Um, so like the Paul Graham of like makers versus managers. If you haven't seen that post out there, I think it's him. Paul Graham, makers versus managers schedule. Super famous post. It's back from 2009, but it's like it's really really true. Programmers dislike meetings so much because of a different type of schedule from other people. Meetings cost them more. If you haven't read this, it's wonderful, delightful post. Brings so much empathy for like the different roles. There's no right and wrong here. It's just like different perspective and different needs. But I think it's a good point. Insight here is Not everyone has the same schedule. Same schedule or and volume of meetings. The hidden pricing I ran into just recently. Just let's like talk about it why we're not going to do this. The pros is users are more likely to sign up. What happens is some website will say, try this for free on the website. There's like no pricing at the website whatsoever. Just like, hey, download this, try it for free. What then tends to happen is you go through onboarding or you register with email, you onboard, minimum value or insight, if even, and then paywall. And this leads to this. Whoops. Can we do this? Means to like makes us really, really sad. So it's like the news experience that you see online these days. It's like see someone like a really cool article, like really interesting, captivating headline bringing you to Wall Street Journal, and then you click the link. It's like, you have to pay $6 a month to read this article. Too bad. You want to pay? And then that bad taste, at least for me personally, someone else out there might feel differently. And maybe it works. Maybe this is something that's done for a really good reason. Can't think of one, but is feels bad. That's how I feel about it. The cons is massive negative emotions on paywall. And then the paywall is here is like, oh shit, I have to pay. And then you see price is what? And it doesn't really matter whether it's a objective low price or high price. It's the since you're already having that emotional surprise of being paywalled out of nowhere. Like they could charge $2 or they could charge $50. It doesn't really matter because you're already anchored in a negative emotion. It's rarely that I get paywalled. It's like, oh, that's cheap. Arguably, it's not super expensive to pay $6 a month to like get free access to I don't know, Wall Street Journal, but it's the fact that I am so close to getting value, and it's like you need to pay in the door, buddy. Otherwise, this is not happening. That feels bad because you're already inside, you're already in the door, and they had a big sign, neon sign outside saying, "Oh, this is great. Come inside. We're gonna have a lot of fun." And then you get inside, and, oh, by the way, you need to pay in the door. Too bad. Um, that's no fun. Um, so I think this is what we want. This wins. Great. All right. Maybe we should have that on the side as well. Hmm. Let's see if there is another. Since we have this as a library, we bought the library. Oops. We have the library right here, and we can see all these like templates for different things. Let's see what we got. Maybe there's something that's maybe we should try this one here. It has free premium enterprise. There's some stuff in the bottom we can get rid of. That might be one. Free business. Which do we like better? I like this one better, I think. Um, the color here suggests like click the free and that tends to, in my experience, influence influence where people click, where the premium being center and upfront here, it's likely that more people will click it, I think. So we'll probably go with this. Let's see the rest, just for the fun of it. This is the one that we took first, or that we've added so far. Kind of like that. I don't want to go with the full, here's all the features that we're listing, and this is what you're paying for. Um, and FAQs is not what we're looking for right now. Okay, so we're going to go with this. Let's just make sure that we are in the right place, so we're not just jamming in here. I'm going to select the body, hit. All right. There's a few things that's messed up here, but we're going to fix that. Let's just bring it up first, so they're next to each other. There we go. There's stuff down here. We probably don't want that. Table grid, bottom. This pricing footer. We'll get rid of that. Let's copy over uh, some writing here. This is the personal plan, and this is the enterprise plan. We want to go with 24 per month. One thing, like the pricing here is tricky, and I've been thinking about that for a while because we're paying for each minute that we are providing feedback, or like we're analyzing and providing feedback on, and it's not cheap. And I need to like test out their API and see, are we actually paying for the silent time as well? So that, like, I'm recording one side of the microphone, but like if you're on a call, there's a really, really high probability that you're in a conversation with someone and you're talking, let's say on average 50% of the time if you're in a one-on-one or in a one-to-one meeting. And if we're paying for the silent time, where the algorithm will just say, hey, this is silence, or you're not talking. If we're paying for them to analyze that time, that's basically just like 50% or like double the cost. And that's why 2 days ago, if you're here back then, we were looking into, can we detect silent ranges in recording audio? And the answer was yes, we can, but not great. Or not really well, but we kind of can. So we can strip out a high percentage of the time where you're not speaking. But then there's other factors, like maybe you can hear it on this call that I'm every once in a while I'm typing and clicking. Maybe you have a vacuum cleaner a vacuum running in the background, or you dishwasher rolling, or whatever, like background sound, and that can be registered. The algorithm will still say it's silence, but in our silent detections, it will still be enough to say it's not completely silent. So we'll still have some loss there. But we can remove some of the time, which will at least be a start if we have to pay for it. So, and because the cost is rather high, one of the biggest optimizers on our side is um, cost optimization, is detect silent periods, remove $30. If we pay AI wizards for silence periods. I actually don't know. I haven't been able to figure out whether we do, but I would assume so. So it's in our interest to strip the silent bits away. But it's not exactly easy if we're doing it all client side. We can, but it's not easy or an off the shelf thing. Anyway, um, Hmm, what should we write? Let's copy over the stuff that we have here first. Right now, we're just gonna port over our design or our copy. I'm skipping the third bullet down here, improve and keep your bad habits top of mind, just because I have some ideas for how we can do this long term, but it's probably not gonna be in V1. So we're gonna skip that bit for now. Let's just pick an arbitrary number and say 40 hours, up to 40 hours recorded per month. Um, let's just write something here. Keep your progress right at your fingertips. This is actually inspired by some Apple copy from Apple Health, where they talk about keeping your health right at your fingertips. I kind of stole that. I like the line. I'll admit it to my thievery. And we need to think for a second. Keep your progress right at your fingertips. See, visualize how you're improving over time and keep track of keep habits, keep poor habits at bay and become more articulate. Something, something. Actually, let's try our this one here. We have okay. Working on copy for my feature section. I'd like to keep. Let's go back to one of them where we already have a bunch of feedback, so it has a bit more. I need your advice again. I have no idea whether this actually makes a difference. Sometimes I believe it does. Um, Working on copy my landing page and its feature section. The prompt I have is header, explainer, and you help make a better version. That was simple. I like it. Let's roll with that. See? Good enough for now. Track your progress. I'll probably say with ease. Feels slightly better. Easily with ease. With ease. Here. Okay. I have another one. Header. Exercise and advice tailored for you. Explainer. Personalize feedback to help you grow and give you bite size exercises after each session to help you improve at a personal and comfortable pace. I'm just making this up right now, hoping that we'll get something useful to help you improve personally and comfortably. Let's see. That will do. Personal exercises and advice. And last one for you for now. Header, no bots yet integrated into your work life. Maybe work life is a bad choice of word on my account because that seemed to limit our ideal customer profile to someone that's professional, but technically they might as well be podcasters or something else. So let's see. Let's just put live here and see what comes back. Description. No privacy concerns. And asking for recording permission or hassle. It just works seamless when you're making calls on your laptop. I like that. At least the header. Cool. The description says no privacy worries, no recording permissions needed. Works effortlessly during your laptop calls. And then formatting. Enterprise really tends to care about access control and billing, authentication, and support. And oops. Let's see if we can just generate something on the fly here. For my enterprise pricing plan. Whoops. I have two headers and whoops, I have two headers, priority support and advanced billing access control. So as I said earlier, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here with what we do. Like if we can have machines do the hard work for us when it comes to design or copy, I would like to just offload things as long as the result is good enough. If we have to do everything on our own, everything will take forever and we won't launch this year. And our goal is to launch something reasonable this month. So we're in a hurry. Can you make a then short sentence for each? Short describing sentence for each. Mm-hmm. That will do. Streamline payments, manage user access with each. Uh, gonna change this slightly, but we can use the blueprint here. Paste. Just say invoiced. Oh shit. Webflow, you have a challenge here. They have a bug. Okay. Invoiced. We might just need to reload this and rid ourselves from this. User. All right, let's just reload this and oh, I can actually see there's some folks out there chiming in and looking what we're doing. That's exciting. Nice to see so many of you. Please say hi in the chat if you're around. It's always nice to see friendly and familiar faces. If you checked in just recently or this is your first time here, so what we're actually building right now, we're building a website or a landing page for a product that we're building. A product is the product itself is something that I wish existed for a long time, something that can help me myself get better at speaking English. As I'm sure you can tell by now, I speak slightly too fast. Actually, I know it. I try to speak slower. It's really hard, especially if I'm excited. But the good news is software can solve a lot of these things and provide feedback on whether I'm using the same words, whether I'm saying like or such as or like all these filler words a lot. It can help me expand my vocabulary if I tend to use the same words over and over again. Give me recommendations on maybe you can say it differently, maybe you can say it this way. There's so much opportunity there, and I actually found a service that can help us do this. So I'm building a nice application on top of it, hoping we can make it work. I just got the domain locked in and ready to go this morning. So now we're building a landing page so we can start figuring out whether this is something that people out there in the real world would actually use. If not, I'll still use it. Um, but I'm betting if we can build something real nice, there's more people than me in the world that would like to improve their English. My personal thesis is things like Duolingo is nice to get like introduced to a new language, but it doesn't really work, especially in a professional scenario where I've seen some companies, and I worked at one myself, where they were paying for tutors for all the employees who had English as a second language. So each month you can sit down for like once or twice, like in one hour long session, and say, "Oh, let's work on your English." But when things got real, and you're sitting in that meeting at work, you're forgetting half of what you said, or your experience tends to degrade, and they won't really provide feedback on, are you using a lot of acronyms, or are you able to explain your thoughts in brevity, or are you talking on for lengths and lengths and lengths about the same thing, and you're at a high risk of losing the audience. All these things a in-person coach, unless you're probably right. Don't edit all the text like that. Update the style in the selector and you will thank me later. This here, I thought that was what I'm doing. So top right, top right. So this. Okay. Here we have price listing. What I try to do sometimes is like go back and say, is it, and say if we do this. I haven't found a way to just like just but do it for like everything. Um, but my assumption is if I'm changing something here, it will roll over to everything else that share the same style. But the bad news is I really like the font Lato, and we use it in the app and we use it here. Um, and they are wired up with system UI instead. So here it's still the style, right? And maybe we can go back one selector and say all links and pricing table. But here it's crossed over, so it's definitely not the root. Is there something higher up? I don't know. Nope. If we get to body, we definitely have Lato in there. Body all pages, also Lato. So we go down here, system UI. What happens if we just take this and say this? Do we get it for free down here? Nope. Okay, let's go back one more time. This. Hold on. What happened? Here. All links. Try one more time. Selectors. Yeah, nope. Okay, so we go select the bottom icon and overrule this one. That's one of the things I haven't really figured out yet when it comes to Webflows. Like, how I wish there's just like override everything, but I guess if they set fonts hard coded into each of the bits, then we're out of luck. So now we have to like pay attention and yeah, the pain is real. You're right, dude. You're very much right. Okay, I think we got all of them here. Let's see. If you can see anything, please let me know. We'll grab the headlines here. And this. This is like super wide. I don't like the long text. I used to work in design for a few years some time back, and there's a lot of science that says if the length is too long and you have to like read too far across the screen, you will stop reading just because it's annoying for the eyes. So we want this to be somewhat less wide. Probably take the view width and say 40. That's probably not enough. 50. Let's roll with that, and we just want it centered. So we see if we can push it all the way over. Auto sizing the margin, and we are in luck. How does it look? Slightly off? 70? Better. Wonderful thing about Webflow is we can test it at different devices relatively easily. Yeah, that looks quite all right. This is closer, somewhere in between these two is like how it would look on an iPhone. I think that will do. Um, so sign up for free. I mean, we can go with that for now. Reach out, add. No, we'll probably say reach out. Is the rocket an image or is it? Yeah, it's an image. Are we in luck that we have a small letter or something? Nope. All right. Never mind. The rocket is fine for now. We can always fix that later. Um, Sign up for free. I had join and download before. The whole like sign up here is like calling for attention, and it's like everyone is like saying the same thing. And it's kind of like marketing fundamentals of positioning, and positioning is like how do you position yourself in the market, and how do you speak about yourself. And a few folks send me the link, and I can run it. Or AI, the link. Which link, my man? The website? Like my website? Like what we're building here? Sure thing. Let me just remove the section that we already did, or we're replacing. We're replacing this one. Do we have everything that we need before we remove it? I think so. We just publish it. You can grab the URL. It's burpewcom.webflow.io. Let's see if I can paste that into the chat. For those out there that's curious, this There you go. For all of you watching, the website will never have had more traffic than I'm sure it has in these very seconds. So thank you. And if it looks terrible, please let me know. Mm, this here feels slightly off. Feels like we need the same margin as we do up here. Let's fix that right away. And I'm not sure what kind of AI you want to run it through, so I'm kind of curious what's going to happen now. What are you up to? Predicting customer behavior. Oh shit, I've seen this. This is wild. I literally just talked to you today and I have not looked at the website. That's kind of embarrassing. Um, but this is so cool. Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. But I've seen this before and I was like, I remember, actually distinctly remember the first time I saw this. And this is something that I was talking to actually a shared friend of us, Anders with, I think like many years ago. And we talked about this in particular, that this would become a thing in the future. And it is now, and that's like freakishly exciting. And thank you for running this through your website and everything that you do, because this is the future, 110%. Wow, I love it. So for all of you watching out there, bookmark this, neuronsinc.com. Fucking solid. I love it. I mean, it's just a matter of time before, like, if Google haven't reached out and said, "Hey, can we buy you folks yet?" Like, feel like that's the thing that would happen. They have like it would be such a sweet spot for them to like to get into. Like, oh, I this is exciting. Hold on, save this. Yeah, I can imagine that. Actually, on the stream, can you see the chat as an overlay so everyone can see what you're writing? Yeah, I can see that on this here. Yep, it seems like it's working. We're streaming on like three different platforms at the same time. So if someone were to respond on a different platform, let's say YouTube or something, um, for those watching on a different platform, they wouldn't be able to see it. So I'm trying to like consolidate all the chat at one place so everyone can following along as I'm chatting with you all out there. Anyway, keep me posted on what the AI wizardry will say about the results. That's exciting. All right, we have the enterprise locked in. We have the personal locked in. Now we need the free stuff. Um, 6 hours, like, up to 6 hours with yeah, speech. Up to 6 hours. Feedback on up to 6 hours of recording. 6 hours. Maybe it should be more. Is 6 hours enough? I mean, we get pretty good data just with like half an hour. And 6 hours, you'll get feedback is like probably across a handful of two of sessions. Um, yeah, We can adjust it over time. It might be 6 hours, it might be more, it might be less, but I feel like probably 6 hours is the sweet spot. Feels right so far. Thank you. Excited to see the report. And if I can share it here on stream, let me know. If I can't, let me know. It's fine either way. I'm gonna pull this over to a different screen for now. Uh, up to let's wrap up the copy here first. Feedback on up to 6 hours of recordings. Feedback on device. Um, coaching on up to 6 hours. Uh, limits or restrictions. Hmm. I'm trying to figure out if I got some feedback from the AI machinery that we saw before, and I will just ask Dennis whether we can share this on the stream or not. Don't want to share something without permission, of course. Also, today we're not having music. Is that a nice change or not? I'm not sure. I kind of miss it, but also the silence helps me focus a bit. Um, so if we want music, we can turn it on. I might turn it on later. All right, this is actually cool. Let's bring it up. I haven't had it in a big size before, and maybe Dennis can walk us through what we're seeing. Hold on, let me bring it up here. So, one of our dear audience members from Neuron shared what they are, the product that they're building. They use AI to predict where the user will actually look. So we can see the button in the like the call to action in the button actually sucks. Very little attention to that compared to the top headline, if I'm seeing this right, or analyzing or like concluding the right things based on the screenshot. What we're seeing, like 25% will look up here and only 0.5% down in the bottom, which it tells us having the button in the bottom of the section is probably a bad idea. And we can try and move it up in the top and see what happens. So just run the machinery one more time. Um, we can also like try and move the header down in the bottom and just like adjust the formatting. We'll do that in a second, and we'll see if we can get a bit of extra credits on the AI machinery and try it one more time. Let's just update the copy one more time, and we will give it a spin. Also, does the copy actually? That's maybe an interesting question. Does the copy change the results from this, or is this purely visual composition that we're analyzing? It's like human behavior will look here and here and here, regardless of what the word says. Interesting. And in 5 seconds, you're not really spending time on reading stuff. It's just like, where does your eyes go, I assume. Hmm. So, but my question is, does the text content actually matter or influence the results? Or is it just composition? Okay, let's. Hmm. Wonder if we can consolidate the button and the header, just as an idea for the future. We'll move this around as well and see what happens. This is, whoops. Up, 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 up. We try and move these two as well, just to make some radical difference here. Yeah, you're right, the color. Let's see if we can grab this like nice purple we have up here. And take the same color and we will trim down just a notch. Like this, and we'll make this gray because it's businessy. Mm, let's try this and see what happens. I feel like the composition is still kinda wonky, but it's solvable. But just like let's publish this and get a sense of what has changed since last time. All right. If you don't mind, give it another spin. I'm really appreciative of like we can like try some cutting edge tech that like clearly some of the coolest like companies on the planets are using. Google, Facebook, huge brands like TikTok, um, Facebook, of course, SAS, Estee Lauder. So many cool companies are using this. That's wild. And here we are building a small company and we get to try the same thing. I feel so lucky sometimes. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. All right, we'll say this and let's work out the final copy here. Um, direct and personal feedback on use of filler words, your pacing, and fluency. It's hassle-free. I'm sure we can come up with more good reasons to use this. We do mention the privacy bits up here, and we do have it here as well. Maybe we should move this one over here. We're kind of saying the same thing. Isn't best practice to not repeat yourself? I would assume so. Um, we can refine that at some point. Let's just bring this over to our copy wizard and say header description, header, and I heard a ping, so it might be, if we're in luck, that we have some insights on whether our changes did anything, which is exciting. I have to force myself to write this up to go peek. Here is three more for you. Can can you please fix it up? Anyone else doing this? I like when I'm writing with a bot, I tend to write please and be kind in the way or polite in the way that I write. Even I know this like there's no humans behind this, but I still for some reason find myself being polite and say please and thank you and all these things over and over again. Mm. Okay, this is cool. We got a second screenshot, and let's compare notes compared to the first one. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Here's the difference. Nope, it's the same one. Hold on. Here we go. We started here, a lot of attention in the top. Now the call to action gets significantly more attention. So, as Dennis said, who's behind all this fun stuff, is like the header grabs so much attention. So let's combine the two, put the headers in the top still, and see what happens. And that will probably feel more natural from a design perspective as well. So let's do that, and we'll get all three and see which is better. So if we bring this up here and we hit publish, and hopefully this is the best of all three worlds. Oh God, this is so cool. This is actually exciting. Really exciting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all I can say. Really, thank you. Freakishly cool. Oh, I see. 90%. And we will copy that. So what I'm thinking about here in the meantime is we have the copy that we need to get back to. Apologies, this is how my brain works. We start something, then we get sidetracked on something else as I look at it. And we need to go fix that as well. So we're jumping back and forth a bit. But I saw this, then I saw this down here, this section, and I remember what we just talked about, which was we would like to have the same spacing as this, just because it feels super super wide and very verbose. And I tried to figure out what was up with this one and why it looked different. And what I saw was it had 90% as in, whoops, the container, probably 90% in width, and its senders. And then it had a max width as well of 1500 pixels. Just so if you have a really big screen, we have a 6K monitor here. If we're running on that and like a lot of pixels, it would be like spanning the entire screen, just like have it still nicely centered. Um, this here, just a fun fact. We will probably don't need to grab that much attention, so we can like turn it down a notch like this. Let's try and publish this and just like get a feel for it in our own browser. According to my screen, we have 20 people looking at me doing this. I almost said nonsense, but it's actually pretty cool, and I don't think it's nonsense at all. But at the same time, most of the time, I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. So the fact that 20 of you would like to look at me struggling and like thinking out loud, I really, really appreciate that, and thank you. Hold on a second. I have someone at the door. Okay, my wife got it. Never mind. So let's take a look at this. Yesterday we had a bit of a discussion around having a like app logo in the top. It was in like as a part of the application, and the conclusion that we reached yesterday was like nobody's doing that. And I think this is I was pondering whether we should have have a logo in the top. And well, now I'm like thinking the same thing about this website. Should we have an app logo here in the top? We have it here in the fav icon, as it's called up here. Should we have something here, or here, or here, or somewhere, or not? I don't think so. Is it necessary? I know. I mean, it's visual branding, right? But we don't have a header bar or something just yet. Could have that. I have like a nice one sitting out here. But 10 years ago, when you're building mobile apps, everyone would have their app icon in the top because it's like, why not? I think over time, what happened was most people realized like this provides no actual value. You're just like taking up screen space for no reason. So why not just get rid of it? And that was the debate yesterday as well. Naturally, it feels natural to have an icon up here. I think we had that in the first iteration of the design that we did last week, but in this like third version, it doesn't make any difference. So don't have it. I like the way this looks though. This still feels like it's too much. We might want to see if we can find something else. It feels like I'm watching a banner in Outlook or something, or an ad in Outlook, and that's not a good thing. In case you're in doubt, um, I do like the message that this conveys. I think that's if you're still on the fence, that hopefully would be enough to win you over. But still, it feels very much like I'm watching a an ad for something, banner ad, like we had on Yahoo 10 years ago. And I think someone like MSN's, is that still a thing? Does that still exist? Um, it says ad, but there's nothing showing, thankfully. But I'm sure there's supposed to be something up here. Yeah, no good. No good. I really like this, but let's see if we can fix this one up just for something else, less much, and we're getting somewhere. Um, all right, we got the verdict in from the AI wizards of the world when it comes to call to action science. So here's where nope, wrong one. Oops. Here we go. Actually, let's change the order. This is where we started, which was pretty cool. Very classic design. Header, describe what you're doing, and the bottom is like, hey, thank you so much for reading all this text. Now give us your favor and sign up. And humans don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. So now, chances are like they moved on before you even reaching the bottom. That actually makes sense now that we have the data. Didn't think about it. Now that we have the data, kind of logical. We did some wizardry, swap things around, put the action in the top, even moved the header out of the way. Made a huge difference. Kind of wonky from a design and expectations perspective. And then we decided to blend the two, have the header in the top, but the call to action in the top as well. And that's the sweet spot. And actually, what I'm really happy to see here as well, I'm not sure if we saw that in the other visuals. We kind of did, but here it's super, super clear. And with the pricing tier and why we actually picked this one, where personal is bigger than the rest. And what I assumed would happen was personal would be more popular because it's center, and this actually tends to suggest that, which is cool. Whether users will think, oh, 24 bucks, that's a fair price or not a fair price, that like will probably decide real quick whether they want to like click the top or not. Um, But this is pretty good. This is pretty good. This gets more hits, less hits the free, and less free hits on enterprise. I think that's okay. And as Dennis noted, we can probably do more with colors. In our design, we do have a nice warm yellow contrast color that we can just like try and pop in. And put the purple down here, still keep the gray out here. And that's just some tweaking. But I think overall, this is the way forward. This is definitely the way. Thank you so much for letting us try this. This is hell cool. Really, really cool. What a win to have this on today. Holy shit. Um, let's go grab some colors. Oh, my Webflow is under a different account than most of my stuff, so we will need to go get a different browser. Here we go. And I actually have Figma in here. Maybe old one. Let's go with this one. But this is so cool. Genius idea. Wonderful tooling. Mm-mm-mm. So we did the first design that I did, and this was probably before streaming. Looked something like this. Slightly lighter, slightly less contrast. Um, One thing that we haven't put into the new design yet is like challenges and the whole like gamification part of it. I do want to get there, and there's a few other missing pieces here and there. We had the logo up here as we just talked about, and we decided to get rid of that, which I'm happy about. We made a few other modifications as well. Yesterday, we decided to start over and just like focus on the information hierarchy, which is really just information hierarchy is like if everything has the same font and text size, everything just like blends together. You can't tell the difference between different parts of information. So if this 81 would be the same font and size and everything as overall speaking score, and the description down below would be the same as well, then you would like basically would be looking at something like this, which is like all the same and it blends together. And an information hierarchy is you can change the font size and then the width, like the weight of the font, which is like how bold it is, and you can change the colors as well to like to ascribe different meaning to what you're seeing on the screen. And we played a lot with that yesterday to get an idea and a breakdown of like what actually makes sense. So this is where we ended up in the second iteration yesterday, and then we fast forwarded to a third quick iteration, blending the two together. In the second iteration yesterday, we had this as a long list, and like we needed some separation. We also needed some like contrastful background, and merging the two kind of felt good. So we split this up into different pieces. These two share the same background because like recording and the scoring is very interconnected, and your upcoming sessions and your all this recorded sessions for better or worse, or earlier sessions or scored sessions down here, they are slightly different. So they have slightly different background, and it sort of like stands out on its own. Yesterday, we also added this like header bar up here where everything blends together really nice with the traffic lights, which is just the Mac minimize and maximize, etc. buttons to control the window size. So this feels really good. I really like this. And then for the last 15 minutes yesterday, um, we, well, half an hour, we started talking about the assessment and the assessment input we have. We mapped that out real quick in a drawing. Here's what we're thinking, and you can like swap through or like change through the different categories of like scoring, vocabulary, grammar, fluency, and you can like get a breakdown of what you're seeing, what we're seeing, and you can get some exercises out of that. And we did a very rough, crude design, ending up with something like this. Whether it should be an overlay or a separate page, TBD. But reusing the same UI pattern that we came up with and the same visuals, we could build something like that, which would be quite neat for starters. Anyway, that was a long story just for a yellow color. So we'll get to the yellow somehow. How do I even get to the yellow? No? Okay, we unbreak it. Get the color code. Rewire it. Done. All right, back to Webflow. This, let's give it a different color. It's kind of mustardy, actually, and it feels like it has a gradient as well. Where's that gradient coming from? Button. Oh, linear gradient up here. I see. Can we just turn you off? And there's actually on hover colors as well. I have no idea how that's done in Webflow. No idea. We'll figure it out eventually. But we might need to do some Googling. Oh, background color. Sure. So this is the thing. We have transitions, and I can see we have it. Nice transitions for color, but where do you even where do you configure these things? Like I can see we have the transition, but from what to what? Interactions? No. Settings? No. Focus mode? Hmm. Nobody knows. Okay, we have to Google this because I want to know. Webflow set transition color. No video. Mm, nope. Transitions? Thanks, man. Thanks for checking in. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for all the help and letting us try your cool tech. Really appreciate it. Like a button, out of box shows. Go to the hover state. Where's the hover state? What am I missing here? Yeah, I can see something is happening, but effects, hover state, hover state, hover state. Oh, this one. Yes. Cool. We did it. We might just want to go slightly more warm. Yesterday we talked about hue, saturation, and brightness colors, which is really, really neat. It's like one of my favorite ways of picking colors because you can stay within the same tone and you can go at different ways instead of just like selecting a random color. Um, so you can see the dot moving here either like one way or another. The hue is where in the span of colors do you want to be, all the way from red to green, blue, purple, red again. That's your hue. Your saturation is how much color should be in there, and be for brightness, which is like how dark should it be. So saturation is like going left, brightness is going up and down, and it is nice visual right here. Um, so on, let's just try and do like this and say darker on hover, darker yellow, and we go back to the non-hover state. I had no idea that was a thing. And we take the orangey. Maybe that's too orange. Oh. Let's run with it for now. Orangey. That doesn't feel. It's not exactly what we want. This is yellow, and then we can go to the. Oh, can we actually change it over here now? Did it become a thing? It did. Nice. And then we take the same thing and just change the brightness ever so slightly. So we'll go and say instead of 90 in brightness, it will be slightly darker. So we go to like 85. And back to our design. It's not a lot. Maybe it's enough. It feels slow though. 400 is a lot. I think from like mobile apps is like 200 is even considered on the slow side. So it's like 270 milliseconds. Like you won't notice it as much, but feels more natural. Still kinda. Let's just try and publish it and see. See what we think. See, we have a lot of folks checking in from Twitter, aka X. Thanks for thanks for staying on and looking. I have no idea whether you can. Is chatting even a thing on X? Is that possible? I haven't actually tried. Suppose we could pull it up. You can say something. That's a thing. It has a chat. I hope it works. I hope it's connected. Let's go take a look at our website. Oh, this one it's now on the top as well. Maybe we should go with the yellow over here instead, and then go with like a purple text. Nice contrast and no border. I know this is nitpicking, right? Um, but still feels kind of important. If you're gonna do it right. But where's this border coming from? Border 0? I mean, swear to God, there is something here. 0. Hmm. Alright, one thing at a time. Just do like this. Hmm. It has the text decoration of being underlined. We need to figure out how to get rid of that. Is that this one? Underline? No, thank you. Here it feels warm. Up here, not so much. I would like it to be sort of like a warm canary bird-ish without being orange. Hmm. I worked with someone that had a like really nice yellow. It was the Icelandic police got a new icon. Icelandic police. Maybe we can. Yes. I worked with the guy that designed this logo right here. This one. Let me just grab that and see. What kind of yellow is this? This is not stealing, right? This is like paying homage to someone. It's close, but not exactly what we're looking for. Mm, to get it. There we go. Wonderful. And a hex. Let's try this. Webflow. Hmm. It's so close to what we had before, actually. And we go 41 on the hue, 45. I would like it to be more vibrant. This is closer. 41, true orange, 43. This is almost like egg yolk. 45, 47. Now it's into the mustard zone. Very mustard. 46, 45. Is this good? 42, true orange. Maybe not. 3, 4, 3. That's the sweet spot. I don't know if anyone besides me think that much about colors, but I'm sorry you had to see that. Actually, I'm not. But we can take the darker and we can just say here we turn down the brightness by, I don't know, 8 or 12. And that's our darker yellow. This one here, our small arrow, let's keep that. It's it's fine for now. We can probably fix it later if we need to do something. The border, though, I have no idea what's going on. Who on earth, or is it the shadow? Remove the shadow just to see, and we can like back out of it. Aha, just the shadow. And now it's back. And it's the inner shadow is the top one. Okay, so this is the center, and inner gives that like sort of embedded look, which it isn't nice. Um, that feels better. Um, can we go back to and get rid of the inner shadow? And this one here will change a lot. And maybe just go get our yellow and then go all the way down and say we want something that's like 60. That's better. Still, you're not good friends. Maybe that's too much. 80. That feels way nicer. Now it actually stands out. Here we have to do the same. Get rid of the inner shadow, this, um, same color, and 80. And we do not want the underline here. But we keep getting it. Okay, we'll fix that later. This, we want to go back and just use our regular purple. Did we save that? Or no? Reset. Mm-hmm. This, we have the hover state, which goes all the way into black. Can we just say purple? Nope. Okay, we shall make a purple. This. We'll need it over and over and over again. Color purple, color purple darker. What happened? Purple darker, same purple, but darker. 88. Oops. And 18. Don't want to change the alpha channel, which is maybe 18 is a quite low. 22. You see the difference here already is quite notable. Alpha A is the alpha channel. That's like transparency. So that's like changing this, like opacity almost. Not quite, but close. So we don't want to change the alpha channel, not on this. So here we have the hover state where we're perfectly now happy to say go darker purple. And the transition should not change forever or take forever. The transition should be 170. Technically, we would probably like to do some like exponential easing or something. We'll get there. Doesn't matter much. It's like devil's in the detail, right? Here, there's still this like weird gradient thing happening. I think looks like that. Hmm. Focus mode, backgrounds. Mhm. Hover. No inner shadow, please. Should it be brighter? Is that a thing? Maybe. No. Trying to look for, like here, the background's getting slightly darker as you hover over. Maybe it doesn't matter for now. Maybe it doesn't. Now there's this text decoration in here that we still no idea where it's coming from. Icon, link button. This? Yay. Nice. This looks off. Hold on. Let's go back. Do this right. What does this say? Akita button icon. Akita button icon. Nice. Right font. Okay, cool. We still want to replace this with something else. And we have a thing that we forgot earlier, which was the copy from over here, I think, somewhere. Copy, 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 copy. Nice. Coaching, up to 6 hours of recording. And unlimited feedback and advice without restrictions. That's technically true, though it's just not on the recorded audio, which is fine. It's kind of what you want. Mm-hmm. Eyes and exercise is just a bit of formatting. It works effortlessly during laptop calls. Fine, seamlessly integrated, no bots involved. No bots involved. Yes, we're happy. Good. Feel like we need to. This could be over here, and we need to put some more stuff here. But hey, this one stands out, and these are the same. Did we do this earlier? This one, please. Header. Can you make a description too? Yeah. Get feedback continuously, and let's figure out what to say. 40 hours, get feedback continuously, improve at your own time and place, and get better in no time. This is good. Ample hours to cover regular usage, receive continuous feedback, and improve at your own pace. Feel like the value props here are something that we can really work on and hone in on, and we will later. But this is good enough for now. Sometimes it's helpful just to like take a look, step back. Um, why not the other one? This? No? Great. This one down here, I don't love. It feels like the Outlook banner ad or the MSN banner ad from like the 90s with rounded corners. So let's see if we have something better right off the shelf. A lot of background graphics here. That would be a lot of work. Maybe the full color one is simpler. We can tone it up or down as we like. The rest feels very much like an ad. Let's try and copy this down here and see what happens. Spacing fun going on. Here, definitely make that smaller. So this, in terms of size, we had the other one up top that was 90% tops, 1500 pixels tops, and then it's centered, right? So we don't leave it hanging in one side. There you go. Um, the blue, do we like the blue? Probably not. It's very purple, but we want to go darker. This, we have the effect issue again. Inner shadow. What's the button style for this? Can we just use that? Boop, 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 boop. Okay, it's a hero buttons. It's a hero buttons, but not in blue, please. Wait, why is it? I wish we had 2,500 subscribers of people waiting to use this. We don't. Um, what should we write instead? Hmm, I have a different issue. I have a call to action section with a form sign up. The template I'm using says a subscribers, but I don't have any. Can you come up with a different line that leaves a that interest makes it seem worthwhile signing up for? Can you make 5 different variations of that? Of different nature that all solves the same problem for me to pick from. I don't like it exactly, or maybe there's other ideas. Oh, this all seems like begging for too much attention. So I read a cool book a while back, or I listened to a cool book. I don't read a lot of books these days, I listen to them. And this book is really, really good in the audio version because it's the author himself who narrates it. Um, it's called I'll Stop Talking When I'm Dead by Jerry Weintraub. Jerry Weintraub is a hell of a guy. Um, Self-made man, Brooklyn born. He's talking that like famous New York accent, famous Bronx accent, if you will. And he's a he's a guy that represented everything from like Frank Sinatra to Elvis Presley, and he's the one of the guys behind the Ocean's 11 movies, etc. And he's like a genius at positioning. His dad was a jeweler or jewel trader, and at some point in the book, he talks about something that I find quite interesting. Like, as long as you put everything in a limited edition, it gets way more attention. That's kind of how I think about it, and how you want to start with the messaging. Is like limited edition sounds way more important, calls to way more urgency, and like brings you more in. Even like there's no international standards of like limited editions. If you print 1 million of something and or give it away for free, it's still limited. There's only 1 million, or there might be 10, who knows, but it's a limited edition. We'll see if we can capture that in there, or the essence of that. Let's try and write something ourselves instead. Um, Access is limited access, and we are letting more people in as the product matures. Let's use that. Can you read this instead? Limited access now. More openings coming. Um, I'd like to say the access is limited. Mm, it still feels. How about we just write it in plain English? Our edges are still kind of rough, so we are picky about who we let in just yet. It's coming soon. Heard something. Glue.ai? Slack competitor based on AI? What are they saying? Request access? Request access, join waitlist. Mm, join waitlist sounds slightly probably better than get started. Which you really want to say, let me in as soon as possible. Um, keep me posted. Sounds like you're making a newsletter. I'm not a big fan of newsletters. I think I get too many myself. So like I try not to do that. Mm, that might be a way. Can I join? Like our edges are still a bit rough, so we're picky about who we let in. More seats are coming soon. Can I join? Like kind of like, is there some sort of like deterministic approach to who we let in? I would love to say yes, but oh, what happened here? No, hit a button. Yes, yes, yes. Better. I like it. This is cool. I just recall we have a different issue, which is up here. We cannot link to this because it's inside. Um, it's inside the hero section, so can we just move it out on its own? Like this, and then have them swap places. Like this. Oops, background. I like this better. I actually have the fading down here, I think. Yep, this is the way. Let's check things out in mobile. Nice, 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 nice. Hold on, what happened? Do we want this to be white or purple? Then hover and not white, but darker purple. Um, Not sure the contrast is big enough with white, but let's keep it for now. White. Okay. Let's see what happens, how it feels. Oh no. Oh, it's fine. Feel quite good about the border on this button. Should it be white text instead? The hover state is kind of messy, but I really appreciate this. Looks good. Hmm. Hmm. No, man, it's not weird. I kind of appreciate it. I could turn on some music for the both of us. How about that? Or you just have to listen to me mumble all the time. Hmm. Let me see what I can do. Without violating any copyrights, I have my streaming playlist, kind of soothing. Doesn't intrude on your thoughts. Now we're into the nitpicking here. We're just gonna like work with this one more time. It can possibly be the same yellow. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Darker yellow. Maybe it should just be the text. So the text will be white until you hover, and it will be purple. And none. And meh. Is this is this the right font? Or this? Feels like these two are not good friends. Stop. Oh, I see. There you go. He was talking to me. Actually, could we get it closer together? I don't know. Height of one makes sense. And this is fine. kind of would like, see, that's exactly why I need an app like this for the words that just came out of my mouth. I kind of would just like, it's like 80% filler words. What is this? The design would be better if we show somewhere that this is cross-platform available. We have at least one competitor that's building roughly the same. They are Mac only, which kind of makes sense, but also paints them in a challenging corner. It's going to be they went fully native, which makes their cost of going on Windows at least 1 to 1 of their Mac development, and then if they want to support Linux, like good luck. And we're kind of doing the entire thing, so maybe we should just put that out there for the world to see. Maybe it doesn't matter much. So nope, not what we want. Duplicate class, small, 12, and we put it below the button. And we can like tease it out by saying soon fully available on macOS. We need to do a lot of testing for Linux though. Let's see if there's a better way of saying this. Is there, can you make this copy slightly better? No. As good as you can, please. Yes. Oh, I love it. Coming soon, fully available on Mac OS and Windows with Linux support to follow. Love it, love it, love it, love it. This doesn't really do us any good. Top hero content. Maybe we should just. Maybe we're gonna regret this, but put our logo here. Not that big though. Uh, we would like some padding, if you don't mind. Is that weird? It is kind of weird. Instead, what we'll probably try and do is just to introduce a header bar or a nav bar. We'll probably modify this to our liking. Let's give it a whirl. There's a lot of stuff in there that we don't need, but we'll make it work. Place image with our own. The nav menu items. There's a lot here we don't need. What is this? Nav button menu. Do we have some? Oh, it's because we have something else on mobile. Nope, don't want that. Don't want the links. You can go all the way to the right. This looks terrible. Better. This key tab button. Can I join? We probably need a version of the icon with some text. Should we go make that? Quick and dirty. Maybe we can just go with this. Place, upload. Yeah, feels better. That's cool. I think the yellow and yellow here is sort of like competing for attention. Hmm. We could just have a user icon similar to what like Tesla does here. Just because how many times have you like worked with a product and you subscribe to it, but you cannot figure out for the love of God how do you unsubscribe again or manage my user profile or something like that. And if we're gonna go with Clerk for user management, if we can make that work, we can just redirect to that. That and Stripe. Mm, or have nothing. Or this, the follow us section. Or this one. And then say, what grade shall I do today? Auto. Verb view means verb Corsican. Kind of funny story. Corsican. Yes. Hold on. We can do. I kind of like that. Sweet. And figure out if the software is bugged or if I really have 24 people watching on X or Twitter. Would love to know if that's true. Would be cool, but I'm skeptical. It would be super cool. Super duper cool, actually. This looks so good. Maybe the spacing here is slightly off, like want it to be a bit closer together. But oh boy, I love this. That's hella cool. 0.9. I'm super stoked. This is so fucking cool. I can't wait till we can actually go down here and say publish to production. We're not there yet. I need to figure out how exactly. What are we gonna do when people say download now because the binaries is not publicly available? And here, like, what should the flow be? Reach out, easy, write an email, free personal use. Should probably go to Stripe billing, and we need to hook that into the application at some point. Are you paying or not? I have a good friend that done that already for his software. Um, if you ever find yourself needing it, check out this inspect.dev. Whoops. Mobile web on iOS and Android debugging. Super, super cool. Kenneth did this. Amazing guy, one of my really, really close friends. And he has like killer users as well. But I'm sure he knows. He used to work at Stripe, so I'll have to like pick his brain at some point. We're still a few weeks out from releasing anything to the public, so we have time. But we don't want to go public without being able to like track our users and making sure that something happens when they actually interact with the application. Um, one thought I have is the further we can take the user in terms of saying, "Hey, I'm actually willing to pay for this," the better. That's like a golden rule of thumb that was passed on to me from another good friend of mine, Martin. He used to work for something called Freehype. Let's see if they have a website. But basically, they're helping other companies build internal startups, I think. And the team behind this have done a lot of cool, cool, cool stuff, including, I think, BarkBox is a thing that came out of pre-hype. If you're living in the States and you have a dog, chances are you heard of this. Massive. Basically, just a subscription, sending you goodies for your puppy every month. So cool. Works really well. And what Morton passed on to me was you basically want to like if you can get users as far as they want to pull out your credit card for your service, you know you're on the right track. If you want to build something, you're just walking around asking friends or family, "Hey, do you want this?" Chances are people are being too nice and will say to your face, "Oh, yes, of course, I would love to use it." And then you pass it on like, "Oh, well, sorry, I don't have time." Um, but if you can get people to vote with their wallets and actually say, "Hey, here's my credit card. I want to pay to get this now." And you have people putting out their credit card upfront and say, "Hey, just give it to me." You know you're onto something. I think history has plenty of examples of people who did conferences and just like oversold it upfront, or there was even no conference. There's a famous Danish entrepreneur that did that 15, 20 years ago. It's like say, "Hey, I'm hosting this conference," and the tickets were like sold out really, really fast, but there was no conference, so he had to go make one. He did it. But it's a good way to like if you can get people to like actually put up money, you know you're on the right track. So let's see. What did our to-do say for today? We need to revisit Google Analytics, signups, Stripe payment. Stripe payment, we're probably not going to get to. Signups, probably. Google Analytics, we can certainly do. Before we move on, then, I just want to take a look at my phone to see how this looks, to see if there's anything we need to fix. This looks so good. I swear to God. There is slight difference, I think, on mobile. Um, Hold on, let's just check that right now. Because this has rounded corners somewhere, or maybe not. Maybe it's just the image. But if we go to mobile, does this has rounded corners? Yes, it does. It's not a lot, but it's enough that things were just like feeling slightly off. We don't want rounded corners because the image itself is rounded. Reset. No, no, 0. I don't know. Sometimes I wish I didn't see these things. It like when you have the habit, you cannot unsee. So every time you see something, it's like something is off. It's good if it's your own stuff, but if it's other stuff and like there's tiny mistakes like this all over the place. See, much better. Mm, there's another thing which I just saw, which is the transition between these two containers. This there's two. There's another one somewhere, I think. Loop. No, just the one. Mm, oh, it's this one. Great. There is a margin issue. This says no gaps. Mm, think we can probably just hack it by giving this a margin here of 70 pixels and be done with it. Not sure if we can see what's going on. Maybe if we play it. Oh no, big gap. That's too much. On my phone, the icons are right on top of each other. So if we play it right that like that, that's level one. So 35 then? Still too much. Half? Half will do. 20? We could go slightly less, but it's good enough. It would pass my test, but 16 it is. We call it a day. Okay, scrolling on. Holy moly. This purple looks funky. Does it look funky here? Or is it just on mobile? What's going on? Inner shadow. Um, hold on. We'll go back. A wise man earlier today told us use the button styles. So we'll do that. Much better. All right, let's run this one more time. Gonna hit refresh. Nice. Mm, so at least on mobile, this is a tiny, tiny thing. 1 EM, 1 EM, container, this, this. Somewhere here, someone is having a padding or spacing. This one? Rows. Nope. All the way up. Oh, this is not it. Container, half of something, half an N, and here we have more. So I want to go a half on this, a half on that. Nope. We want to go 100%. And here we say M's and a half. M's and a half. Hold on. What's happening? Why is it all the way out there and not like that? Auto, auto. 100% auto. Okay, so this has a container, 100% auto, auto. It was missing a container. Now it's fine. Mm, one, two. Should we give this some shadow? If you're using tracking, set up Tag Manager at google.com so you can manage all your tracking at one spot. Dude, I wish. It's maybe I am, maybe I'm not. It's like one of those things where I'm almost afraid to say it here, but I've never really figured it out and never sat down to understand it. So honestly, I have no idea what's happening. I'll just give this bit 636, 208, 636, 0.08. But hey, let's publish this and recall correctly. We have analytics in here, maybe. It's a bit of luck. Wrong one. I think it's this one. Should probably change it to make a new one, but we'll get to that. I'll move it over here to sign in and I'll put it back in just a second. Also good news, It looks like we're still recording in the app that we made a few days ago. It needs an overhaul with a new design and all, but not bad. All right. Tag Manager. Update your website tags easily without having to learn to edit code. Get started. Maybe I'll regret this. Create account. I'm gonna call this VerbView. Denmark. Do I want to share data? Should we be a good citizen? What does this even mean? What are we signing up for? Enable benchmarking by sharing data in an anonymous form. It will remove all PII. Yeah, that's fine. VerbView. I love the domain. Thank you to shout out to Daniel for suggesting that. And we have web application, desktop application. Do we want to do this? Yes, we do. Okay. So far, so good. And then settings on the side. Then indexing turned on. Google Search Console. Global cannot not here. Publishing, is it in here? They have somewhere where we could put this. Site access, general, apps and integrations. We're in luck. Measurement ID. So is it actually the same? Oh, it's Google Optimize. They have the GTM preset like suffix down here, and I bet you it is this bad boy right here. Sorry, up here. And oh, publish to take effect. Should we just hit publish and not tell anyone about it? Good or bad idea? It's it's like deploying to production, right? You just do it and hope nobody will notice. First one to like reply in chat, do it or don't do it, decides. We'll wait. Do it. Yeah, I figured that much, right? Okay, I guess. Here goes nothing. I guess the website is live. Don't tell anyone. Test. Google tag was not detected on your side. That's bad news. We can take the manual approach and paste. Okay. Maybe we should just do what it says. How about that? Head code immediately after. Technically, this is after. Mm, we could just. Okay. I know what we're gonna do. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna go back and we're gonna paste this code immediately after opening the body tag. That means we need some code. Code embed. There we go. And our code embed goes all the way to the top. With that, we publish. Better work. Yay, we're live. So it's connected. Do we need to do anything more? Like, do we need to do more than that, or are we just now tracking things and the rest we can figure out? Okay, new tag. Mm, and choose your tag type to begin with. Do we then have to go through and do everything manually? So I see, okay, here we can like integrate it into like everything and everything. See, I just wish this was like plug and play. Um, Similar to Google Analytics, where just like you plug it in, you get all these like nice metrics, etc. Assume we can get the same. Can we, or we can do both? I guess one doesn't rule out the other. Scott changes new tag. Analytics, GA4 event, the measurement ID. Um, Page URL. Measurement name. Host name. Oh, and then you can like insert with like all the specific data that you actually want here. See, this is nice, and I assume we can wire all this into our buttons so we can see what is getting clicked and why. And we definitely want to do that. You're right. This is complex as fuck, but it's powerful. Kind of how I feel like writing your own backend is. It's complex, it's powerful. We're gonna do the bare minimum and move on. So we have this set up. It works. We now know it. And we will go modify our existing analytics setup as well. just so we keep tracking what's happening. Um, mm, mm, mm. Set up Google Tag. Use Google Tag found on your website. Yes, please. Hold on. See, this is confusing now. Use a different Google Tag. Choose tag. So is this the same or no? Hmm. Ah, different measurement ID. Kind of makes sense. Good. So we are in luck, maybe. Maybe it works. Things are connected. No issues detected. Automatic event collection. Yeah, seems like we did more than I hoped for today. We got analytics to work. And we moved away from what we already have and now have tax plus tax, which is great. Love it. We build a landing page. We're not quite there yet with signups. And payment, we're definitely not there. But hey, we're gonna give ourselves some mega props. We published. We're live. For better or for worse, might be a mistake. People can now use it. We will see people visiting, but they can't sign up. Maybe we should just do something quick and dirty. We're still recording. Our app is still working. We didn't get a chance to see what actually happened. I ran the data this morning from yesterday. Looks like we recorded an hour and 16 minutes. And then things stopped working. And I assume we have a bug where I put out my headphones. I went on a quick break, put them back in afterwards, and the moment I took them out, we were not using my AirPods as microphone anymore. And the changing of audio source probably caused the bug. That's my assumption. And we need to go figure out if that's true at some point. Not right now, doesn't matter. But we got an hour and 16 minutes of recording, and we have it analyzed. We have the JSON payloads. Haven't looked at the data. I know it's. I briefly glanced, and the feedback I got was not surprising. I know I have something I need to work on, but I wish I had an app that could actually visualize it for real. So it's not just me looking at JSON. So we'll get to that, and it will be super cool because we have the design that we did yesterday as a starting point, and I'm freakishly stoked about it. It'll be so cool to have that as a first step. Like, I love this, and I can't wait to try it. We might need to have some like tab layout or some like technical deep dive where you can actually see entire output and like a full breakdown. But we have a good starting point, which is all that matters. The rest we can figure out. It's just code. So how are we doing on time? It's been Let's see. Couple of hours. 3 hours and 31 minutes. Holy smokes. Mm, what we want to do, either today or tomorrow, we might save this for tomorrow, is the forms and hook those up. So something happens when you click the buttons. I kind of want to start today, but at the same time, I also don't want to start today because I know it's a can of worms. But at the same time, I really want it done. It's like one of those things where can you actually stop when you start? That's my biggest issue sometimes. It's like, when do you even end? There's so much to do. Thank you, your submission has been received. That's the most sad thing. Where's our copywriter? Can you make this more joyful and thankful? This is for when users sign up to use the app and end on a waiting list. Feel free to use more words. Um, Not that joyful. Okay, no. Can't wait to let you in. We'll be in touch. Or we'll do this in a nice purple and add a yellow heart in the end. How about that? Heart yellow. Maybe we should prioritize just getting user management to work, and we could actually just make a downloadable application that we can then later update. But then we would have users ready, have them sign up. Like if I had for personal use, we would have you. We'll show you a page saying, "Hey, we're not quite ready yet, but we'd love to stay in touch. Do you want to download?" And just we'll let you in when the time is due. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe it's a terrible idea. I'll think about that until tomorrow. We could do that. So it's on users' machines. It's good to go, and we just like let people in. And when the time is ready, we'll just like do an update and be happy. Then we would need to wire up notifications and maybe let's think about it. Maybe. I keep thinking about what Morton told me. Like, you want to take users as far as possible so you can validate that they actually want to try this and are genuinely interested. And that's like the biggest drawback with the freemium approach that we discussed this morning, which is freemium by resource usage or by usage in general. And then eventually have people just like, yeah, you used it enough. Like now you have to like it's a fork in the road. I really like what Slack did early in the day with like 10,000 messages, and you can then like you would get rid of the oldest ones, so you can still keep using it, but get like less value or limited value, and people would just like sign up and convert in decent rates. What would that look like? You can record and get feedback on, dive into the feedback on each session, but you won't be able to track it over time, or only like track it for a limited time window, like let's say a week or two. The cool part about like tracking your health on Garmin or Apple Watch is like you can see you're actively getting better if you're investing in it. Something to ponder. Do we have some sort of form set up for this? Components, variables, like forms. Where do I even find that? Forms here. Good thing I found this. Dang. Let's save this and see what happens. Maybe the form just works magically. Testing in the wild for the fun of it. Danny at verbview.com. Can I join? Oh no. I mean, it worked, but we didn't get the message that we're hoping for here. Hmm, normal. Hmm. Publish one more time. Also, what happens if we use the same? And before you spam me, there's no email hooked up just yet. Much better. Maybe for the download and for the personal use, we just have a hidden form, and this will just like morph into an email input for starters, or a type form. Like we could link to like a type form and just like get some input about who our potential users are. It's kind of like a pain, kind of friction. Let's write that down for tomorrow. Think about it. Think, sign up, type form in new tab, save email, or sign up, email, and then go to a type form to get more user, like more user data. Hope people will fill it out. We'll think about that. I think I have to wrap for today. My mental cadence is slowing down, but this has been a awesome, awesome day. I've had so much fun, and it's been incredible to see people chipping in, chiming in, seeing the viewer count go up and down throughout the day. It's a lot of fun. Slightly intimidating still, but a lot of fun. So thank you all so much for chiming in, staying on, for watching, for participating. I love it. I'll be back tomorrow, um, in the morning at some point, I think, but I'll post when it's time. Have a wonderful and delightful rest of your day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.